What's up, friends and fam? My name is David Cola, and I play the drums.
I can't seem to catch my breath, so won't you please just let me be.
So today I'm going to talk about 5 specific things that I've found to be very important while playing drums on live gigs. Alright, so number one, you are the bus driver. Okay, just follow me on this. You are the bus driver. So you have the whole band on your bus, and you are driving them. So as a drummer, you need to be able to count in a band, whether that means just counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and going into a song, or leading in like 1, 2, blah, psh. You got to be able to start that engine and then bring everyone into the song. I mean, of course, if the song requires you to bring everyone into the song. Sometimes it may start with like keys or some other instrument. So when you're driving the bus, you need to know what speed you're going at. So tempo is very important when it comes to drums. Whenever you're learning a song, you need to make sure that you have the tempos in your head. If you can't memorize tempos, then I suggest getting a metronome app that will be able to list out the tempo. So what you do is basically just play a song, figure out what tempo is, and put it in a list. In the metronome app that I use, I can create a set list for whatever artist I'm playing for and write out all the tempos in there, so I can have my phone next to me and I could click whichever tempo for whatever song we're playing so I can see it. Most often I don't listen to it, but I can see the metronome click along, and then I can get the tempo and then count off a song. That's the easiest thing for me. So you want to know what speed you're going at, and you also need to hold that speed. Sometimes I'll leave the metronome on my app open and next to me so I can reference that in the middle of the song to make sure that I'm still around that tempo. When you're going at speed, you have to make sure that you know the roadmap of the song. Knowing the roadmap is so important. You need to know these songs well enough so you know exactly where to take the band, okay? When I say roadmap, I mean you have to know the form of the song. You have to know where the verses are, where the choruses are, where the bridge, pre-chorus, any breakdowns, whatever. You need to know exactly when that's happening so you can then set up the band appropriately. A lot of times I get on gigs and other musicians look at me to signal what is coming up next. So for example, if we're going to a chorus, then I start building up. I start going as simple as going like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and into the chorus, you know? Even if you're going from a huge moment and then you're going down to a softer part, you need to signal to the band where you're going. I think that's very crucial and important, so therefore you need to know the form of the songs really well. Now as you're driving this bus and you're going to your destination, you need to know what exit you need to get off on, and basically you need to know how to end a song. You need to park this bus, okay? You need to get off the exit and you need to park this bus. So when you get to the end of the song, you need to figure out how you're going to end the song. Of course, this could be dealt with in rehearsal, but sometimes if you're just in the moment and live and you've never rehearsed this song together, you need to figure out how to get the band out of this. A lot of times songs just fade out at the end of the tracks, so therefore you have to figure out how you want to end the song. So what you could do is just end on 1 and do a big hit on 1, or you could build up and talk to your bandmates beforehand and be like, okay, let's do a hit on the and of 4 and end the song. Or what you could do is do a big rit, a retardando, a big slow down, and so you sort of signify. So if we're going like into a big trash can rock and roll ending, and then you go crazy, you go wild, and then you go flat, and then you go and do the last hit like that. Yes, so exactly like that. You need to know how to park your bus, okay, and get everyone safely off the bus into their destination, okay? So remember, you are the bus driver. Now a quick word from our sponsor, Drumeo. Drumeo is the most resourceful place online to learn from the world's best drummers, whether you are a beginner or an expert player. They have over 230 plus courses, over 1,000 songs that you can play along to with full transcriptions and practice tools, and they also offer weekly live sessions from coaches such as Matt McGuire of the Chainsmokers, the legend that is Eric and Prada, the chop god Kaz Rodriguez, and many others. I've personally been tuning into these live streams on Drumeo, and I've been soaking up as much as I can from all of my inspirations. If you're interested and want to learn more, you can get a free, yes, free 30-day trial from the link in my description. So seriously, no excuses. Go check it out and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. All right, moving on to number 2. You are a glorified hype man. You are the hype man of the band. What I mean by that is that you control the energy of the band, okay? You are the energy of the band, or at least a big part of it. You need to be able to play real soft when you need to, but you also, in my opinion, you need to be able to play real explosive and be super powerful when you need to as well. And everything in between, everything in between. You really do set the tone of each section, and all the other musicians that you're working with will feed off of the energy that you bring to the table. No one wants a drummer whose energy is literally the same the entire time for every song, for every set. Like, no one wants that. It's your job to build the energy and the tension in all of these songs so that it may lead to a very, very explosive climax. It's also very important to know how to fade and lighten up after really huge moments if you need the band to resolve and end a song by themselves on a lighter note rather than a huge rock crash, crazy rock ending. Not every song needs to end in a trash can rock and roll ending, even though I want it to. All right, moving on to number 3, no excuses. No excuses in rehearsals. Yeah, no excuses when playing gigs. I believe that is super, super, super important to listen to what artists have to say and also to be willing to do whatever they ask you to do musically. I cannot stress this enough. Do not talk back to artists or give them crap. Even if you are completely in the right and you know things better than they do, don't talk back. Ever, okay? If you have suggestions, those are completely good to try out. You can bring them up and be like, hey, what if we tried this for this part? I think it could work really well. Can we try it out? Maybe, potentially, if we have time. That's cool, completely cool. But if someone asks you to do something and you respond by being very arrogant and stubborn and be like, no, I do not want to do that, then that's not cool. That's not cool. So don't do that. Don't talk back to artists. Yeah. In other words, don't be a dick. And always remember to smile and nod. Smiling and nodding is key to everything. Even if you're just full of rage and anger and you just really don't like people as human beings, just smile and nod. All right, moving on to number 4, adding your own flair. Okay, adding your own flair to a gig. Okay, it is really, really, really important to know and respect a song that you are playing. But taking liberties and adding your own flair can really separate you from other drummers. But hear me out, but only when it is appropriate to add your own flair on a gig. Let me repeat that. Adding your own flair can separate you from other musicians, but only when it is appropriate. When it is appropriate, okay? It's really important to feel the vibe of other musicians, especially the music director when it comes to this. I've been in situations where people want everything to sound exactly like the recording. Like, they don't want you to stray away from whatever happens on the recording. But in other situations, I've been on gigs where people are like, can you add this? Like, can you go crazy? Like, can you do this? Can you like really build it up here? Can we change up the groove on this? Like, you really have to feel the vibe. So feel it out accordingly and be sure to not overstep your bounds, okay? Remember, only play chops when it's appropriate. Don't do it if it's not appropriate. So some examples of me adding my own flair on gigs could be adding some flashy chops and like going from verse to pre-chorus or pre-chorus to chorus, like something to sort of spice it up a little bit, or even changing up a groove in a cool way to make it sound different from the track. So one of my favorite things to do is go from straight time into half time. So if we're going like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and psh. It's a good way to like simply change it up. I feel like it works really well on huge moments or ends of songs or just breakdowns. I think it's super sick. And that's just part of the flair that I feel like I can provide for an artist. Or you could bring a freaking gong sheet to church just because you find it hilarious. Whatever works for you, okay? Alright, now number 5. What can you offer to an artist other than being a drummer? Like, it really doesn't hurt to have other skills on your tool belt other than just playing drums. I've actually seen many drummers get chosen over others just because they have more to offer than just drums. So one example that I've seen a lot of in LA is being able to run backing tracks for artists. I see it as a huge skill to know, and it's something that I put a lot of time into learning when I first moved out here just so I can offer that if I need to do it. Like I said, it's just another skill that you have that you can provide more value for someone than just being a drummer. Not that just being a drummer is a bad thing, but it could just sort of give you that extra little edge that you might need. Another great skill is being knowledgeable when it comes to running triggers or sample pads for artists, like being able to reproduce actual clap sounds or hi-hat sounds or snares that are actually from the tracks. And honestly, my Instagram page and other social media pages have also given me an edge and also have helped me get more gigs here in LA. I'm not saying that you need a huge following by any means. I don't consider myself to have a huge following whatsoever, but I want you to think of your social pages as an online resume, okay? I found that having good content that represents who you are and what you can do is very crucial nowadays. You may not realize it, but you could be auditioning for hundreds and hundreds of gigs just with your social pages. Your social media pages could literally be the deciding factor for someone to reach out to you in the first place and offer you a chance at a gig. I really do think it's important, and it's just something to keep in mind nowadays. Alright, so those are my 5 biggest takeaways for all of my experience that I've had thus far in my career. These are all things that I'm still working on and perfecting to this day, but I truly think that they are really important in this line of work. So yeah, Friends Fam, hope you enjoyed this video, and my name is David Cola, and I play the drums sometimes, and I'll see you, my friends and fam, later sometime whenever I post another video.